Hi, this is Cousin Russ. Another in my Back to Basics series. I want to cover my best practice for what I do before I do the sync now. The most recent blog post I did, I talked about my best practice for the end of day. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I do before I do the sync now. It will include some of my best practice for end of day, but this is before the end of the day. So let me go over to Family Tree Maker, and this is the planned workspace. Now, before I do a sync now, I could do it now, but I don't want to. Before I do that, I want to check a couple of things. The most important thing for me is to make sure that all of my media files are the way I want them. So I'm going to go to the media workspace, which is called media, and I have my files sorted by description, which is this field over here on the right. And I can tell right off the bat at the top of the page that I've got one that's out of line. So I know that the description is not correct on that image. Now I have all media selected, but I use categories, and that's a topic for another discussion, but I have everything in by category, and I have a series of categories, and what I put in them is not important yet. But I'm going to get down to this uncategorized category, and anytime I do a web merge where there's an image involved from Ancestry or any other website, it will end up in the uncategorized uh, category. Now I've got two images here that are going to stay the way they are for the present time. It's not important. I know they're there, but this one's not right. Now I have a description or a caption best practice for me, and I will talk about that another time, but this one is not in the right format. Now this happens to be a census record. Now I'm going to cut the name on the census record. I'm going to paste it at the beginning, and then I'm going to put a space, a dash, and a space. I will hit the end key so I get the end, and I want to take that extra characters out. So the uh, caption now will be the full name of head of household, a space, a dash, a space, and then the year. And my caption naming convention is full name, space, dash, year, and then event. I am consistent with that. So if I look at a specific person, they'll be sorted by the date and then the event based on the sorting for the caption. So that's been taken care of, but the file name's not right because I don't like the file name that's in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm going to right-click on the image and select Rename Media. And like the other one, I'm going to put it into my file name format, and it is the last name underscore first name underscore middle name dash. I'm again being consistent about separating the name from the date. Now, because I, I I don't need the U.S. federal census for me. I'm going to just use federal census, and I'm going to make it so that it's readable. So there's an underscore between federal and census, and I'm going to get rid of the surname that was at the end. Now, this specific image, there were the household was on two different pages in the census record. And I already took care of the first one, uh, but let me just repeat my file naming convention, and I probably could zoom in a little bit so you can see it. There we go. The file name is surname underscore first name underscore middle initial, if there is one, a dash. So I'm separating visually the name from the year, dash, and then the event. In this case, it's a federal census record, and this is page 2 of the census record. So that is the file name for this census record. Now, having said that, I need to do the same thing for the caption. So it's space dash 2 for this. In other words, there's a second page of that census record. So I'm now going to select the category. Let me zoom back out again so you don't miss anything here. So I'm going to select edit and put it into a census category. And I click OK. So it is now in the census category. And I go up to the census category, and it is in here. And here is the first one. So that is page 1 of the 1930 census, federal census. The caption could be spelled out. I just shorten the file name up a little bit, and then the next census record is page 2 for that census record. So sorting purposes in the collection tab, again, I will spend a whole hangout, a whole recording on the media workspace, but I just thought I would, before I do the sync, I want to make sure that my media files are the way that I want them. You don't see the file name on the ancestry member tree. You see the caption. So I want the caption to be very clear about what that image is. So I took care of that. The next most important thing for me before I publish this on my ancestry member tree, I'm going to the publish workspace. And in the collection, I'm going to select source reports. And I want to make sure every record that is in this file has a citation. And there's a report called the undocumented facts, and it's this right image right here. It's an undocumented facts report. I'm going to create the report. Everything looks good. I don't have any undocumented facts, except it's for only the extended family, and I want to make sure that I have all individuals selected. And in fact, I have a fact that has not been documented. So I can edit this person just by clicking on the name. So I have it, and there is a record here that has no citation. Now, I happen to know that this was in error because I've captured, I wanted to show the error, and in fact, there is the fact that does not have a citation, and I'm not sure where I got that from. I think I know, but I don't want to. I don't want to guess. So I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to double click on the name, or I'm sorry, I'm going to go to Theodore C. Hall, and let me get rid of this filter, and I want to Theodore C. Ball, and there is that fact without a a citation. Now, what I had just done was a census record, and the census record was for 1930, and I don't have a citation, and that's where this came from. And I'm going to guess that if I go back to or go over to his wife, that I'm just going to see the state, and there's the 1930 census. So I had worked on one of the children where the census, the 1930 census record said that the father and mother were born in New Jersey. So I did the mother correctly, and I didn't do the father correctly. So I'm going to pick up that citation, and I copy the source citation. I'm going to go over to Theodore C with the fact that does not have a citation. I'm going to click on new, and the fourth option that I have there is to copy the citation. So if I go back to the undocumented source report for all individuals, it is now clean. So I now am ready to do the sync now, but I'm not quite. I want to go back to the media, just one more item about the media file. Now, the reason why I am so particular about file names is I just brought up Windows Explorer. And so in Windows Explorer, they're sorted by the surname of the person, or by the person, and the year of the event, and the record. And I do not like spaces. I do not like spaces in a file name, just from habit. But here's a good example of a 2-page document. There's his last name, 1942, World War II, draft registration, and that registration there, the image that I got happened to have 2 images. So I like the underscore for readability. I do all names by surname, including females, their birth surname. For example, Elizabeth, that is her birth surname. I know that, so I don't have to remember how many times she got married. In this case, she only got married once. But it's by birth surname with the underscore between the first name, the birth surname, and the first name or given name, and any middle name or middle initial, followed by the year of the event, and then year of the record, and then followed by the record name. And I use underscore so I could read World War II draft registration card. In this case, there are 2 sides. The image that I got required 2 images, so it's a -1 and -2. I do not, and you do not want to rename any of the files from Windows Explorer. You can do that. I just selected that, and you see that the rename option became available to me. I do not rename files from Windows Explorer, File Explorer. If I rename the file, I'm going to do it from within Family Tree Maker. I can right click and I can rename the file. That's just me, but it has been working for me for a while. All right, so I'm satisfied with the media files are correct, and I have all of my facts have a citation on them. Now I'm going to do tools, and this is where I talked about the end of day procedure, but I do this just before I sync with Ancestry. I compact a file, I select both options, I click compact. Now I have an external drive, and I select it. it remembers where the directory on the external drive, the last one that I used, the default is the working directory, but I always select the external drive. And as I mentioned in the previous recording, I do because it adds the date in the order that I like it, which is year, month, day. I put a -A, or if I do 2, it'll be a -B. So I know that which backup I did. Was it the first one or the second one? Doesn't matter. So I make sure that all these are checked, and I click OK. So now it is backing up my file, and it'll take a second here. So it's backing up the data, and this backup, as opposed to the automatic backup that you may have the option set, the manually created backup will include all of the images, which is what is being now backed up. So they're all being backed up. They're all in that FTMB file. So if I have a problem with the file, I can always restore. And I know based on the file name which one was the last one that I did, which is why I like to use A, B, so I can separate them out. You'll see here in a second one other thing that I do with that. Okay, we're closing in on the end of the backup, and it's doing its thing. And now it's done with the backup. Now it's going to compact the file, and it's going through that right now. So it's doing some file maintenance, and I do this frequently. I will do it, and I don't worry about getting down to 0%. I just do it once, which has worked for me. Okay, so now I am back, and I'm going to click on the plan workspace, and now I can do the sync now. So it's analyzing my data that's in the file work that I have done on my computer, and it's doing some analyzation here. And now it's going to give me a report. Now I always keep this report. I don't print it, but I have it. So I export it as a PDF file. I just click OK, and I put all of my this PDF file in a sync folder on my drive. Now I'm going to use that same backup file name, except it's going to have a PDF. So it was today's date and then -A, just like the backup file is. And I can click OK. I don't need to open it. I don't need to save it. I need to save it. I just don't need to look at it. And now I click OK, and I close the PDF file, and I say go ahead and continue. So now it is updating the Ancestry member tree. I keep that PDF file, so if something happens, that I know what was done, what updates were done just before I did when I did the sync. Now it's maybe a couple extra steps, but it has kept me good. It's now told me that it has synced completely. And I always wait till I see the media complete that's down here. Now, I did not add any media to this file. The media that I worked on came from Ancestry. So those files from Ancestry will not be uploaded. If I had added an image from my computer, it would have been updated, and there would have been a message down here just below the desktop desktop tree change, there'll be an indication here that says the media is now complete. So that's what I do uh, on a regular basis. It may be once a day, it may be 3 times a day, but I will do that. I will check my media files to make sure that they are correct and they're all and have the correct file name and have the correct caption. And I make sure that all of the facts are documented. So I have no facts that I don't know where they came from. They're all documented. And I do this all the time so that I don't put a lot of information on my ancestry member tree that's not documented. So there's a very nice report that reminds you what is not documented. So that's my best practice for before I do a sync now. Hope that helps. Have a great day.